Hi, this is a follow-on to my previous video about the ERP Accelerator, how to unlock the full potential of your ERP investment. And I'm going to talk now about what I call the engineering approach. So what you see on the screen is the I-35 West bridge failure in Minneapolis on the 1st of August 2007. And what's notable about it is that within a short while of the failure happening, it was on news feeds all around the world because we don't expect bridges to fall down. And the interesting thing that I've come to understand, coming from my training as a civil engineer, somebody who's trained to design bridges, is that engineers do not design bridges to stand up. In fact, engineers design bridges not to fall down. And there we see the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, built 88 years ago. And it'll probably be going for another 50, 100 years. Because engineers do not design things to stand up, they design things not to fall down. So much so that if you're a civil engineer and you design a bridge and it collapses, you will be subject to peer review and potentially disciplinary action if it's shown that there was negligence. In the case of that failure, there was a combination of factors which had nothing to do with the engineers. Maintenance people overloaded the bridge in peak hour traffic, and it collapsed, and they were using jackhammers at the same time. So a whole combination of different factors which were analyzed in deep detail so that they don't happen again. See this in the contrast to the statistics that are widely reported. You can get them on Google, Perplexity, ChatGPT, wherever you want to search. About 70% of ERP implementations do not deliver what was promised at the strategic executive level. So, in a sense, they fall down. So the reality is that engineers design bridges not to fall down. They don't design them to stand up. They design against failure. So there's a mindset difference between the way ERPs are implemented and the way bridges are designed and built. And I want to suggest for your consideration that we can learn lessons from the civil engineering field. So what do I mean by an engineering approach? It's rigorous, it's systematic, it focuses on preventing failure, requires clear accountability with expert leadership and CEO custody. It requires effective contracting. It requires implementation team knowledge and experience diversity, every facet of the business, every facet of the software. It requires strategic alignment and so forth. And I will discuss the different facets in time in the videos that I plan to produce in the next few weeks. So the engineering approach is all that is required to build an ERP implementation that succeeds by not failure. And the key thing here, out of all of the points here, which many of which will be discussed in subsequent videos, is this thing about rigor and systematic method of working and focus on preventing failure. So much so that I advocate that there should be a mature senior person on the team who has lots and lots of experience, who identifies anything on the project that could potentially lead to failure and surfaces it and gets the team focused on preventing failure. If you have to put in a new ERP, then it's vital that you go through a robust process. I have a 3-stage tender process, which is geared to getting a fixed price with a strong contract that safeguards the interests of both parties, but particularly the interests of the client. And that's a conversation that I'm very willing to have with you outside of this particular channel. I have an engineering approach score sheet, which scores a particular implementation against precision, multidisciplinary teams, and so forth. And there are basically 5 components to the underpinning of engineering approach: precision, multidisciplinary teams, managing against failure, rigorous strategic requirements analysis, and structured project accountability. So to sum up, the ERP Doctor ERP Accelerator engineering approach is a rigorous and a disciplined approach TRP implementation and operation. It's based on formal engineering education and certification. It addresses the weaknesses observed with regard to numerous investigations into substandard ERP implementations. It's a way of thinking. It's a culture that is embedded in the project team and the organization. In conclusion, the engineering approach, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got, which is 70% substandard ERP implementations. So radical and effective new approaches called for, and I call that engineering against failure. There's the ERP accelerator, the different steps, and you see the engineering approach at the bottom there. And I'll be talking about each of the steps in the days ahead. Please drop your questions in the comments below. And to learn more about the ERP Accelerator and other aspects of what I've spoken about, there are a number of links in the first comment beneath. And an invitation to attend free of charge my executive briefing, why your ERP is not delivering and how to fix it. I look forward to hearing from you. Ciao.